Shalom, brothers and sisters from wherever you're watching us from. We hope the Lord has been gracious and good enough into your lives. Welcome to this new episode of Tuko Tayari. And today we're excited to be looking at chapter 45. In our previous episode, we looked at chapter 44, whereby we were looking at the story of the silver cup. And we're looking at how Judah is pleading with his brother Joseph not to remain with his younger brother Benjamin after the cup had been found in his cup. But now today we look at chapter 45 to see the verdict that Joseph gives to his brothers after finding the cup and what he decides to do. The Bible records, then Joseph could no longer control himself before his attendants, and he cried out, "Make everyone leave this presence." So there was no one with Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. And he went to he wept so loud that Egyptians heard him, and Pharaoh's household heard about it. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still living?" But his brothers were not able to answer him because they were terrified at his presence. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come closer to me." When they had done so, he said, "I am your brother Joseph, and the one you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed, and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now there has been famine in the land, and for the next 5 years there will be no plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you because ahead of you to preserve for you remnant of the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance." So then it was not you who sent me here, but God. He made me father to Pharaoh, lord of his entire household, and ruler of all Egypt. Now hurry back to my father and say to him, "This is what your son says. God has made me the lord of all Egypt. Come down to me, do not delay. You shall live in the region of Goshen and be near me, you, your children and grandchildren, your flocks and herds, and all you have. I will provide for you there, because 5 years of famine are still in to come. Otherwise, you and your household and all who belong to you will become destitute. You can see for yourselves. So can my brother Benjamin. That is really I who I am speaking to you. Tell my father about all the honor accorded me in Egypt, and about everything you have seen, and bring my father down here quickly." Then he threw his arms around his brother Benjamin and wept, and Benjamin embraced him weeping, and he kissed his brothers and wept over them. Afterwards his brothers talked with him. When the news reached Pharaoh's palace that Joseph's brothers had come, Pharaoh and all officials were pleased. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Tell your brothers, do this: load your animals and return to the land of Canaan, and bring your father and your families back to me. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you can enjoy the fat of the land. Are you also instructed? Are you also instructed to tell me, do this, take some cats from Egypt for your children and your wives, and get your father and come. Never mind about your belongings, because the best of all Egypt will be yours. So, um, so the sons of Israel did this. Joseph gave them carts as Pharaoh had commanded, and he also gave them provision of their journey. To each of them he gave new clothes, but Benjamin he gave 300 shekels of silver and 5 sets of clothes. And this is what he sent to his father: 10 donkeys loaded with best things of Egypt, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread and other provision for the journey. Then he sent his brothers away. As they were leaving, he said to them, Don't quarrel on the way. So they went up out of Egypt and came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. They told him, Joseph is still alive. In fact, he is the ruler of all Egypt. Jacob was stunned. He did not believe them, but when they could not, when they told him everything Joseph had said to them, and when he saw, I repeat verse 27. But when they had told him everything Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the cart Joseph had sent to carry him back, the spirit of their father Jacob revived, and Israel said, I am convinced my son Joseph is still alive. I will go and see him before I die. Friends, this is such a beautiful chapter, and this is actually the verdict that Joseph decided eventually to give to his brothers. He decides to make himself known to them, and of course he is actually with so many good news. Look at how actually he presents it to them. He tells them, 1, you should not be distressed or be angry with yourself. Why? Because it was God who was sending me here before you. And he reminds them that they are in the second year of the famine, and there are 5 more years that are supposed to be coming. And he tells them that God, actually it is God who made him come to that place. Imagine when Joseph was going through all these tribulations, actually, from when he was sold to the Ishmaelites, from when he was thrown into the pit, sold into the Ishmaelites, sold to Potiphar's house, sent to prison again, and now God raised him actually to the rank of being the second. I don't think when he was in prison he could have seen all these things. I don't think when he was in his distress he could have actually seen all these things. But look at him at this time, the kind of actually testimony that is giving his own brothers, and whatever the view of life is giving his brothers is quite different. It's giving them an opportunity to see how God actually can transform and do things. A man who was made to go and die is now second in command. And look at it actually, even after actually telling his brothers that it is him, even when Pharaoh actually hears about him, about the brothers, he says, go bring your father, come live here with me. And he says, we'll give you the best of the land of Egypt. And he even tells them not to come with their belongings, for they were supposed to get the best from Egypt. And actually when the father hears about this, that is Jacob, he is very revived. The Bible records that he said, I am convinced my son Joseph is still alive. I will go and see him before I die. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so sure that maybe you are listening to us when actually you are in distress. Maybe life has taken you actually to the ends whereby you feel like you do not deserve what you're going through. But let me assure you, but through those distresses, God is preparing you for something good. Look at Joseph. Actually, it was not making sense to him. So why should I be taken to Pharaoh? Why should I be taken to Potiphar's place? Why should my brothers, my own brothers, sell me to the Ishmaelites? So why should I be thrown into prison again by Potiphar's because of Potiphar's wife? It was not making sense to him at that time. But at this time, actually, when you see him telling his brothers that God had sent him before them for a purpose, then this means that actually he had gotten the actual view of how God would have loved his life to look like. Look at actually him. As per now, I think he's around 39 years, because we are told that he started serving when he's 30 years plus 7 years of plenty, and now he's talking of 2 years of famine. That would be 39 years, and that meant he had gone through a hard, a tough time for maybe close to 12 years or more. And Joseph was patient with God. He really persisted on waiting on God, actually, even in his own tribulations. I have a challenge to all of us. May God help us, actually, that we'll be able to wait on him, but even in our tribulations, we'll be able to stand and allow him to continue working in us and working through us, and allow him to take us through the process as he prepares us for whatever he wants to do with us. Because the truth is, we will all emerge victorious through him, and all the times that we would have to focus with him, he'll always be with us in all our circumstances. May we be patient with him. May we allow him to work actually in our lives. May we allow him actually to direct us in all that he needs and what he needs us to follow him into. May the God bless us. May the Lord bless us. May he be with us, and may he continue keeping you, because he is good in our lives. Shalom.